Every year, millions of Americans are exposed to a contagious virus.
It's not a disease.
But it's toxic.
It's not genetic.
But we're all at risk. You can contract it from a stranger or a friend.
You can catch it at the movies.
Or by listening to a song.
And if you spent even a minute on the internet,
You've definitely been exposed.
What is this virus? It's stigma.
Stigma.
It's stigma.
stigma may not directly affect you.
But it harms the 1 in 5 Americans living with mental health conditions.
Stigma promotes an environment of shame,
Fear and silence.
which prevents millions of people from seeking help.
Stigma isn't just harmful. You also risk coming across as a real jerk.
But there's good news.
The National Alliance on Mental Illness believes stigma towards mental illness is 100% curable.
And it's pretty easy to find out if you have it.
So do yourself and everyone a favor.
Go to curestigma.org and get tested for stigma.
A person with a disability has to be innovative, they have to be creative, they have to persevere, they have to be hardworking, just to do the things every day that you and I take for granted. So if you were to say to an employer, how would you like to have a workforce that is naturally innovative and creative and knows how to persevere and is dependable? I mean, any employer is going to say, wow, yes, I'd like that.
Welcome to My Healthy Mind. I'm Michael Hunter.
And I'm Elizabeth Atkins. Today we're talking with former Lieutenant Governor and current Director of the Michigan Small Business Association, Brian Calley, and with Jenny Brown, Director of Rochester-based Dutton Farm. These two tireless advocates have collaborated on programs that help those with physical and mental disabilities become capable, productive, self-supporting members of our community.
One of these is the Dutton Farm program run by Jenny Brown, where disabled individuals are taught real-life skills in horticulture and animal care, all with the goal of equipping them for a career that they're good at and enjoy. But it's their own personal stories that help make Brian Calley and Jenny Brown especially good at the work they're doing and enjoy so much. Mr. Calley, Ms. Brown, welcome to My Healthy Mind.
Great to be here, although you can call me Brian.
Okay.
Call me Jenny, please.
Okay, thank you. So how do you two know each other?
Well, I actually was invited by Jenny's dad to visit the farm in the early days. We started running into each other more at different functions and events that were kind of around mutual friends.
I mean, I've been watching and following Brian and his journey for a long time, and being at the level of leadership that he was over our state, it gave people like me and organizations like me, and I can speak for many other people, just the inspiration and the encouragement and the strength to be able to continue the work that we were doing, because we knew there was somebody leading and continuing to bring this to the table for discussion.
Well, I must admit I've been reviewing your resumes in preparation for this show, and it's taken me a while. You both have quite a list of impressive accomplishments, but you both work so quietly and so humbly in the background. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I've started really focusing in on employment for people with disabilities here in our state, and now really excited about the opportunity of creating new avenues or opportunities for people with all kinds of disabilities, but especially developmental disabilities, disabilities of the brain, to get gainful employment, to get out there and be a part of the workforce.
And you've been working in the background too, Jenny?
Yeah, I mean, we've just been working really hard to build a platform that showcases the benefits of a life that is inclusive, and in the workplace that hiring inclusively, particularly adults with developmental disabilities, is really good for the company. And when we let the individuals that we serve really take center stage, you know, that tells the story itself. So I think it's important for us to be able to do the work in the background.
And now working with the Michigan Small Business Association, talk to us about Employment First Michigan.
This is where I'm really excited about where my past and my present come together. So we have an association with over 27,000 members, 27,000 small businesses in every county and every industry that you can think of. Take one of the main problems that every business owner is facing right now, having a hard time finding people to fill jobs and positions, and connecting that with a need, people that need opportunity, people that are loyal and dependable and talented and so excited to be a part of the workforce. To put those two things together is exciting. So the work continues that I started with Justice Bernstein a few years ago on the advocacy side, but now it's really boots on the ground with businesses, educating businesses about the benefits of hiring a person with a disability, and across the board, you just see from big to small businesses, you see now companies that are realizing every day that they have been missing this for a long time.
And so, Jenny, how does the farm fit into the programming?
So in 2010, we started with just a handful of participants. We weren't really sure how we were going to fit into this space, and we just wanted to help people. And more people started coming into our program until we realized we really had to figure out what we were going to be when we grew up. What kind of organization do we want to be, and really focus on employment and inclusion and build the infrastructure that we needed to build. So we were strong, and we were clear, and we were efficient, and we could really make an impact and move that needle in the right direction. So really it was just based on the need, and people kept coming to us saying, can you help me too? And we say, yeah, we'll figure it out. Somehow, some way, come on in and we'll figure out a way to help you achieve your dreams and really live a self-determined, choice-driven, independent life. And it's been incredible. The people that I've been able to meet and really call my friends are the most incredible people that have absolutely changed my life.
So talk to us about what Dutton Farm is. So is it an actual working farm?
Sure. So yes, we're on about 6 acres, and we have bunny rabbits and sheep and chickens and master gardeners that make all sorts of beautiful gardens, and really such a special place of inclusion and really beautiful souls just finding their gifts and realizing their talents and what they love to do, and really cultivating those gifts to be able to contribute back to the society and achieve their dreams.
So their skill set that they're learning could be anything from a farmhand kind of hands-on work, or can it even get to some of the clerical side of farming and the business side of things?
So yeah, so we operate under 10 learning goals that really are geared towards specific places of employment. So gardening, horticulture, animal care, manufacturing, clerical, janitorial, customer service, IT. I'm really excited about some of the things that we are talking about in terms of entrepreneurship as well, and IT, because we see a lot of people that enroll in our program that really have had no exposure to anything in the IT world, and we see a lot of potential there.
Hi, John.
Hi.
So, what is it that you do here at Dutton Farm?
I'm a retail associate. I ring up orders, and I stock the shelves as needed, and pull up more old stuff to the front and put the newer stuff in the back. And I make sure the store is clean at the end of the night.
Who's eligible to participate on the farm?
So we don't have any limits on individuals with developmental disabilities that we serve. So really we take our referrals from the state contracts that we hold, either from Oakland County Health Network or MRS, which is the Michigan Rehabilitation Services. And we serve individuals that live independently and also individuals that need a higher level of support for their daily needs.
And one of the barriers in mainstream employment is trying to ascertain if the person is a good fit.
I think sometimes the interview or the recruitment process focuses on maybe challenges that really have nothing to do with the job performance. Maybe something as simple as a license requirement, or does the person really interact well with people or adhere to social norms, when many times that has nothing to do with the job itself. And I really think it's important that we start to restructure how we identify and recruit talent, because there is a whole pool of talented people that we're somehow missing because there's certain limitations to the interview process. So every single person has, you know, purpose and immense talent, and when we are specifically looking at what the job requirement is and what that person's skill set is, and we can get around some of the other things, then it's usually pretty simple to find the right fit for a person.
You know, a person with a disability has to be innovative, they have to be creative, they have to persevere, they have to be hardworking, just to do the things every day that you and I take for granted. So if you were to say to an employer, how would you like to have a workforce that is naturally innovative and creative and knows how to persevere and is dependable? I mean, any employer is going to say, wow, yes, I'd like that. So why does the ability to sell yourself in a across-the-desk typical style interview, does that really matter? In many jobs it doesn't. And so it's important that when that evaluation process, how you decide if you're going to hire somebody, that it not be just focused on the can't, but instead focused on the can. And that's the I think it's a shift. There's 180 shift we have to make in the way that talent is evaluated. If you go in saying that, well, you have this disability, therefore you can't do this, a better question is, how would you do this? And if that's a subtle change in the way that the talent evaluation, the interview happens, or the way that the job application happens. But I'm a big fan of on-the-job applications as well. Sharing a portfolio of work, spending some time learning the job based on a desire to give a person a shot at it. And it doesn't mean it's always going to work out, but we're finding more and more often that employers love having employees with disability because they tend to have, they stay longer. They're so loyal and thankful to be there and have part of the job. They show up for work on time, pass a drug test. I mean, all that stuff that employers are frustrated with. This is a big part of the solution.
Stress, depression, and severe mental illness can happen to anyone. Team Wellness Center has been helping those struggling with these conditions in southeastern Michigan.
They get a chance to know that somebody's on their team.
We think nobody else feels the pain that we feel. We feel like I'm the only one, but that is so untrue.
Within 24 hours of reaching out to our team, members receive psychiatric evaluations and begin the necessary treatment for recovery.
Working through my problems and seeing that I'm not the only one that has to cope has really brought me to a place where now it's okay to talk about it.
Because if you keep stuff to yourself, you can't overcome. We all need one another.
Team Wellness Center. You are not alone.
And when someone first encounters the program, is there an intake process, an assessment done at all?
You would start our program with going through a customized assessment, and we'll get referrals from MRS, and we'll go through this assessment and really figure out what does this individual really like to do? What are they good at? What are they passionate about? What's their kind of social, emotional acuity? Do they love interacting with people, or do they like working more by themselves? To really find the right match for a good employment situation. Just like you and I, what you may be really good at, I probably wouldn't be so good at. So making sure that it's a really customized situation. And then we connect with business owners, and we look for job openings and a place where our individual could really thrive in the workplace.
John, I hear you're a real whiz at math.
I am a real whiz at math.
And how did you learn that?
I learned that back when I was a child.
So you've always been good at math?
I've always been good at math, yes.
And what do you like best about your job?
The paychecks that come every 2 weeks, plus hanging around fun people.
And how does that fit with the Small Business Association's vision?
What's really exciting, and Jenny's modest when she says that she's a part of what's happening in the Michigan Rehabilitation Services Network. She's really changing the whole model behind how you create sustainability behind these efforts. And so you take this 6 acres and you have almost 100 people between those that are coming and those that are moving through and going off to gainful employment. It's a really big scaled impact for such a small entity to make. And what it's proving, and the reason why I have used her example when I talk to our greater membership, is because a lot of our companies are the same size as the Dutton Farms operation. And so they think of this like, well, I heard that Ford is hiring people with disabilities, and I heard that IBM is hiring some people with disabilities, but they're these big companies and they can afford to do that. What Jenny's proving is that you can do it sustainably with a relatively small operation. And then beyond that, it's not just placing a person, it's supporting them after they get placed.
You both got into this or used some of this work that you do. You were fueled by your own personal heart work. It's stuff that's endeared to you because of your own family situations, correct? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. My sister is incredibly talented and smart. She has better social skills than I have, and she has a busier social calendar than I have. We've done a lot of work just creating opportunities for her. That's kind of at the heart of the work that I do. She instilled so much character in me, and it's only fair that, you know, I'm there for her when she needs me. And I wanted to be a part of that, and I wanted my sister to be able to have the same opportunities that I had.
And Brian, you've always been gracious enough to share with us about your daughter and how that has always motivated you to do the things that you do.
She's 13 years old now, and you know, it's never a straight line, right? We've had rough patches, and sometimes feels like you're on top of the mountain too. And but what I've learned through all of it is that she has extraordinary talents. And just like anybody else, it's important to help her find the place where her interest and passion and talent can contribute to her independence. When she was in kindergarten, she came home with this test score on her reading level, and it said that she was level 1 to 2, and the answer key said that she was supposed to be, or the scale said she was supposed to be at level 6. So we got in touch with the teacher, and we thought, how can we really want to get her caught up, and what do we need to do, and how can, and the teacher said, no, she's not at level 1 to 2, she's at level 12, level 12. And I looked at it, you know what it said in the box? It said 12. But because my daughter has a disability, I assumed that it must be she was behind, not ahead. And if I have a hard time seeing beyond the disability, then how much more difficult is it for everybody else? And so I just decided really had to buckle down and try and change that landscape.
And then we come to present day. What's next for this sort of initiative? Where do you see it going, or where would you like it to go?
Well, for our part, it's all about developing the demand side. So we've got all these businesses of all types of sizes across the landscape. In almost every industry, they're hurting for talent right now. Just can't find enough people to fill the jobs. And so developing that demand network and kind of reorienting it to think about these populations that we're talking about as a solution, that's my mission. And I'm working with some with different groups and including big companies all the way through the spectrum to very small operations, and trying to figure out how we can scale up these efforts that have started. So now we have a lot of good people doing some good work. Well, we have hundreds of thousands of people with disabilities out there who want to have a shot. And so how do we scale it up so that everybody who wants an opportunity to work gets one?
And Jenny, how do employers connect with Dutton Farms?
So we have an employment specialist, and our chief programming officer are just out boots on the ground, making connections and spreading our message and spreading the message that hiring people with disabilities is good for your business, and we're here to help you do that. And I think I agree with Brian, it's about scale and capacity building now that we have a model that's innovative and is really working and is sustainable. So now we figure out how to copy, paste, or replicate that in different counties and continue to grow it in Oakland. We've seen a lot of excitement around what we're doing. And this has become a priority. I think nationally, we're definitely seeing it in Oakland County, this inclusion in our communities and our churches and our workplaces, and it's a discussion people are willing to have and excited about figuring out how they can become more inclusive.
And how many people, do you call them clients, farmers, did I hear?
They're my friends,
Okay.
but they're our participants, our program participants, and we have individuals that are supported employees. They're supported by us, and they work out in the community, and we provide the support. So now, going from just a handful of participants, we have the ability and the infrastructure to serve 100 participants at a time, either in employment situations, on-site, or in community-based initiatives. So to be able to have the ability to serve that many people at one time is something that we're really excited about.
And you've taken that momentum and put it out into the community. Have you seen results with getting people with disabilities to work? Have we seen positive momentum and trends?
Well, thanks to people like Jenny, we have. I mean, this is, but it's just the front end. We still have somewhere north 80, maybe even 90% of people with developmental disabilities are unemployed today. They don't show up in the unemployment numbers because in most cases they're not even in the job market, so they don't really count as unemployed. But people that are in that prime working age range of about 40 years, they experience unemployment of certainly less than 20%, unemployment over 80% and total employment under 20. I mean, it's a shame because we're missing out on a lot of talent out there. It's really a matter of scale. It's getting more employers to see what the pioneers have done and saying, I could do that too. And it's also getting people that maybe took themselves out of the workforce a long time ago to think again about it. Like, yeah, maybe it seemed like every door was closed in my face the last time I looked, but well, maybe now's the time. Maybe I will get back in the game. Maybe we'll get back and try to make this happen. But it's going to take an all-hands-on-deck approach, and so we got to work with employers, and we got to work with service providers and families, but then also with benefit security as well. Some people are afraid, well, I've got this safety net that I really depend on now. If I go back to work, and who knows if it's going to work out long term or not, will I lose that safety net? And so those types of changes in policy, we need our policymakers to continue to respond to removing barriers to people getting back into the workforce. And I think that's how we take the good work that started and turning it into just the regular thing that happens across the entire landscape.
And if the entities all get involved, who wins?
Everybody wins. Yeah, I mean, especially people that are getting opportunity, but it's also the people that have a chance to learn from, interact from, become friends with people that are amazing. I mean, I don't know if you have anybody in your life that has Down syndrome, but people with Down syndrome don't know how to do anything other than be sincere. Yeah. You know, I work in politics all the time. You know how much time I spend trying to figure out what are the sincere intentions of the person that I'm talking to right now? So who has the disability? And what are we robbing ourselves of the opportunity of getting to know people with a completely different outlook and perspective on life? So I think everybody wins big. We want to create opportunity for people, but our whole society will get better if we do this.
Why do you think you're a good worker?
Because I've proven myself over the years that I'm a really hard worker, diligent, show up on time, yep.
So you're very careful about how you do your job.
Yes, I am.
And do you feel proud of the job you're doing?
Oh, yeah.
So you're happy, and you're just going to keep on doing what you do well.
Yep, until the day I die.
job was causing me so much stress.
I felt disconnected and frightened.
I felt so isolated.
I was beginning to feel trapped, depressed. I never expected that to happen to me.
We think nobody else feels the pain that we feel, but that is so untrue.
It's good to be able to talk about it.
I was able to seek help. I found it from Team Wellness.
It's a sense of freedom.
Team Wellness Center. You are not alone. At Team Wellness Primary Care Center, you will find all the basic services you need to be well and stay well. Come in for all your screenings. Come in for routine physicals and checkups. Come in for full-service dentistry. Come in for vaccinations and immunizations. At Team Wellness Primary Care Center, we take care of your total health. Team Wellness Primary Care Center. Come on in.
Thank you for joining us today as we looked at the great progress that's been made and is still being made to help those with physical and mental disabilities gain the dignity, financial independence, and sense of purpose that comes from being employed. As Teddy Roosevelt famously said, far and away the best prize that life has to offer is the chance to work hard at work worth doing. If you'd like to learn more about this or any mental health issue, please visit us at myhealthymind.com. Follow us on Twitter at myhealthymind or on Facebook. We'll see you next week for another edition of My Healthy Mind. Let's talk about it.
Thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to see more of My Healthy Mind, be sure to click subscribe. Are there any topics you'd like to see discussed on My Healthy Mind? Be sure to leave a comment below and let us know.